Okay, let's meal prep some Halupki today. Some people call it stuffed cabbage. Not where I come from, it's Halupki. And we're going to make it the way my baba used to make it and the way my mom still makes it. So the first thing we need, I cooked this up when I made supper today. It's just some rice, nice and flaky, not overdone. And we'll be using that in the Halupki. So first things first, we're going to get our pot of water and we're going to soften up the cabbage leaves. So I'm putting that on high and we'll get our cabbage. On this head at Aldi's, not too big, not too small. And I just take the outer leaves off because they're usually geek. And then we're going to put it in here, and as it softens up, we're going to cut the leaves off of it. I'm going to do 3 pounds of Hamburg. Next, we're going to do 2 eggs. Just enough to hold it together. Inside our cabbage. I'm going to do a little finely chopped onion for some flavor. That, or you could just add more onion powder when we get to the spices. It's really whatever you like in it. Let's get some of our rice in there. I'm not sure how much we're going to need. This was 1 1/4 cups of rice cooked up. It's 1 1/4 uncooked. So and we do the onion powder, some pepper, couple pinches of salt. Okay, so that's our meat mixture. That looks pretty good. Now the rice will expand a little bit more. It's not fully cooked. It's still a little on the hard side, but we're gonna put it in some beef broth and some tomatoes so it will absorb some of that moisture and puff up. But that's all we do for the inside of the Halupki. So now we'll just wait for our cabbage leaves to get done, and I'll show you how we roll them up and what we're going to do so that they're ready to go tomorrow when we want to eat. So let's see how our cabbage is doing. You want the leaves to get nice and soft, and I probably should have ripped off those 2 leaves too, but we'll put those in the bottom of our roaster that we're using to cook them. What we want is for these leaves to get soft so that they're pliable and we can mold it around the Halupki center. So what I have ready here is a pan to put the leaves in. We're gonna cut them off and get them in here. And then in our roaster, we're gonna use some bone broth, some diced tomatoes, and some tomato sauce. There's our mixture again. Just waiting on the cabbage. Usually the best way, really, but I don't have any left, is the homemade canned tomatoes. My mom used to can them every year, And those in soups and the Halupki, they were just perfect. But in lieu of that, I'm going to go with the diced tomatoes. And we're still going to get a nice, tasty Halupki. I have this Nesco roaster oven. It kind of works like a crock pot. You can set the temperature. I used to use this a lot when I worked outside the home, but now that we are work from home, I find I can start stuff in the oven now. I could do a lot of different things, but we're going to use this for tomorrow. What we're going to do is make our Halupki and stack them in there, fill it up, put some foil on the top and stick it in the fridge. Okay, so here we go. We have our cabbage leaves. I have the bigger ones, and then I put the smaller ones on this side that were from more the middle. If we have to go into them, we will, but we'll use the regular size ones to get nice big Halupkis first. I have all our stuff for the broth, so we're going to push that aside. And then we have our meat mixture, and I'll show you what I did in the roasting pan, the roaster. I have those ugly big leaves that were still around the outside in the bottom to keep the regulars from burning to the bottom, but they shouldn't if we keep it low enough. I never had an issue with that, but people do that. If you're going to do them in the oven in a regular roasting pan, that's a good idea. So I'll show you how we get going here. Nice big spoon and our cabbage leaf. Hold it like so. Take a nice chunk of the meat, fill it up there, and then you just roll that over, and all we're going to do is push those ends into the meat, just like that, and we line them up in the pan. We'll do another one here, see if I could get it in shot better. So we're going to take our meat, and how much depends on the size of the leaf. You want the leaf to be able to wrap around it nice, and you want to be able to tuck the ends in. So there we go. Wraps all the way around. Give our ends a little tuck there, right like that. Nice little Halupki. So if you do them in a roasting pan, I would say you definitely want to put the leaves in the bottom so they don't burn, and you want to put them in the oven at probably about 350, 375 for a couple hours, 2.5 hours. But I like to do mine in the slow cooker roaster type thing and let them go all day. It lets the flavors from the broth that we're going to make meld in with the rest of it, and it just flavors the dish really nice. Here we go. Okay, so here's the cabbage that we have left. I cut the core out. We're just going to throw this little bit on top of our nice Halupkis here. Let's see if I can get them in the shot. There we go. So we're just going to put our leaves around for those that like a little extra cabbage with their Halupki. And then we'll start off with the tomato sauce. Pour that tomato sauce all over. Next, we'll do a can of the diced. And this is completely up to you. You want to do all diced or all just sauce if you don't like the tomato, the chunks of tomato. But like I said, when my baba and my mom make it, we get chunks of tomato. It's better when it's the fresh canned ones from the garden, but sometimes you gotta improvise. I'm thinking 1 can will do. And then we'll throw some beef broth in. Just enough to get things covered. Oh. I didn't know if we'd need the whole box, but it looks like it'll take the whole box, so that's what we'll do. Like I said, my rice isn't fully cooked, so it will absorb a lot of this broth that we're making. That's it. So I'm going to get this covered with tin foil and refrigerate it. In the morning, I'll get it in the pot and let it slow cook all day. Like I said, if you're not doing a prep and you just want to cook it right away, put it in a roasting pan, and I would say 350, 375 for about 2.5 hours. Depends how thick your layers are if you want to get that meat done. There we go. Thanks for watching. And here we go. I wanted to give you a look. How beautiful. Delicious halupki. Ready to eat.